What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Kirby and Scream 7. I feel like this is something that naturally we were going to ask ourselves as we got closer, but look, the reporting was kinda, at least from what I saw, the reporting was that it wasn't going to happen. I actually think it kind of had this up-down type nature because, when the cast starts to get announced, or at least when it starts in general, I think there were a couple insiders that talked about like she would have some sort of role, maybe a cameo even role in Scream 7, and then they filmed it, and I think, by the way, for what it's worth, they've done an incredible job. I mean, like Matthew Lillard thing, and we've heard from him, I guess, afterwards, where like that was supposed to be a surprise, but like these are things that were announced through like major, like the varieties and entertainment weeklies of the world. These aren't just, the insiders that are like making it a thing. I mean, partially maybe, but that was like just an outright like, hey, here's just the news, like here's who's coming back. So the movie films, and nobody really sees anything, at least that they are willing to share, which I appreciate it from several people. And then it really died down, this Kirby and Hayden Panettiere conversation. Even herself in her personal life, she was in a bad place, it seemed. She got better, and then it maybe got a little bad again. I think her brother had passed away, which super sucks, and I can see how that would set somebody back. And then now she's kind of back at it again. And that kind of leads us to where we're at now, because, again, this is Entertainment Weekly. Like, people seem to know this, right? Some insiders seem to know that she was back anyway. And that helps as, like, double confirmation, I suppose, right? But Entertainment Weekly comes out. There's a good amount of people, I guess, talking about this resurgence of Hayden again, which is, again, pretty cool. But in this talk of a resurgence, they just casually throw this in. So let's read this. After the series wrapped in 2018, Panettiere took a 4-year break from acting. She returned to the screen for Scream 6, reprising her Scream 4 hero Kirby Reed, and has since appeared in the films Amber Alert and A Breed Apart. Next, she'll team up with Neve Campbell's Sidney Prescott for Scream 7. And I found this from Jude on Twitter, but he had, I guess, was sent this from Critical Overlord. So I don't think this was a mistake. I think that's the one thing. Like, look, if they take it down, or if they even say that that was a mistake, I can see that happening, right? Because that, again, like this is Entertainment Weekly. These are the varieties of the world, right? When they say Matthew Lillard and these people are coming back, it's like, oh, well, there's really no arguing with it. Like I like how they kind of publish stuff and they just like throw things in there, and maybe you have to question like if they're just making it up, but I don't know, they're such I guess respectable. I don't really care about any of these people or any of these publications, but when they write stuff, it does seem like they have their sources. I think they throw stuff in almost kind of for fun, but things that are backed up by what they actually know. I do not think you throw that in there because that's such a mistake, right? If that's not true. And the fact that she has not been announced for it, that's also a weird thing though, right? It's like, well, she's not announced. They say it as if, well, obviously, they say it like when it's a game or a movie or a film, it's just an actor, right? And they say, okay, well, they've appeared in these things and you can see them in this thing like in 3 weeks from now. You already know they're in that thing 3 weeks from now. They're just putting it kind of as this closing statement where it's like everybody knows it. It's like a very PR heavy thing. It's like, let's plug what they're about to do. But this is different because you are plugging what she's about to do, but nobody knew she was about to do that. And again, I think, if that's true, I want to give them major props. And even, Matthew, to the filming, when they filmed Scream 7, a lot of that stuff seems to be kept under, like, I don't think anybody that I've seen has, like, I don't know if anybody has pictures of, like, Matthew Lillard on set. Not that I really want to see them, but just, like, I feel like they did a pretty good job of hiding that stuff. And if Hayden was there, now here's the thing, and this is kind of what we should end the video kind of on this. So what are we talking about? Like, what's the actual role? I don't expect this to be big, like, at all. I'm setting my expectations at rock bottom. And that way, by the way, if it's higher than that or it's more than that, I can be happy, right? I will continue to stand on, I loved her in 6. I think she's a great actress, and I think Kirby was really, except for and I've said this 1,000 times, except for the idea that they wanted us to believe that she could be a killer. That was a very bad idea. That was a very stupid idea. Besides that, I think she was used, I'm really talking about her usage. I think her usage was awesome. And honestly, it was far more than you would probably expect from, you look at her past and you look at, again, that she's had some problems and that she comes back to the screen for Scream 6. And, Kirby is kind of almost like this cult hero from Scream 4. but like she was in it a good amount, and she had some really big moments, and she was cool, and she was funny, and she was witty, and she was a great character in my opinion, besides that kind of backing of like, okay, well, we kind of want you to think that there's maybe something more going on. There really wasn't. There was never anything more going on. They should have just eliminated that, but her character was great. So I guess what I'm trying to say is this. She had her redemption run in 6. Now, I'm not saying like I never want her back. I do. I will always take her back. But the thing is, I'm expecting just like 2, 3, 4 minutes, because if you just throw her in, because we got her in 4, and that was supposed to be, you know, like this next era. That didn't happen. We got her in 4. We got her back in 6, and I think it was a 9 out of 10 type situation in terms, you know, again, the one missing point would be the killer kind of angle. And if this one, they want her to sit kind of on the sidelines and show up for a few minutes here and there, that's totally cool. But the one thing I do want to bring back up, though, is remember the original rumor about her in 7, and people can correct me if I'm wrong or add on or whatever. The idea I thought was that it was going to kind of spin off her own thing. The idea is that she would maybe be in it just for a little, and that she would then maybe get a TV show or something where it'd be like a Kirby Reed show. Please get now. I guess that's kind of where I'm coming at. Like, I will take her for 5 minutes in Scream 7 if the idea is we will get more later. I'm not a huge fan of bringing her back each movie, like from now on, 7, then she comes back in 8, comes back in 9. I'm not a big fan of her coming back if she's only ever going to come back for 5 minutes. Does that make sense? It's fine this time if she then gets a show, or if she comes back in the next movie and she plays a bigger role. I don't really need her to come back for 5 minutes, and then 2 years from now she comes back for Scream 8 for 5 minutes, and that's all she ever is. I don't think that's fair. To be honest with you, I don't think that's fair for Kirby as a character, and I don't really think that's fair for Hayden as a person, because I think she can do more, and she should be given kind of that opportunity. So that's kind of where I stand on that. But super, super cool if it's true. People have spoken, you know, like I just said, Jude, Critical Overlord. Like, I think people knew, and they stayed quiet, and I can respect that. I think people knew she was in it for a while, and then now, you know, Entertainment Weekly, you know, broke that silence, and now other people are coming out to say, yeah, you know, she was always going to be, you know, they filmed it with all that stuff. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.